This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by
NCC-1776
org.
NCC-1776 org.
At that point, we made a full custody arrest.
Civil disobedience is very powerful because it cuts to the heart of the matter.
Dramatic scenes from a documentary trailer about New Hampshire's Free Staters. But will the man who produced these images be allowed to videotape in a Keene courtroom? As we reported Thursday, New York documentarian Tom Caruso called Keene District Court around October 22nd. He wanted to inform the judge he'd be videotaping a trial.
This is Free Talk Live. It's your show. You can take control of the airwaves.
Ian Freeman, a syndicated talk show host in Keene, New Hampshire, is on trial after essentially refusing to remove a couch from his property. Well, the judge has been allowing multiple cameras in the courtroom lately, but, the New York documentarian says, court personnel told him they wouldn't allow any cameras in the courtroom. Then they told Ian Freeman the same thing. That was on October 24th, a severe reversal of policy. But by that time, at least 2 New Hampshire liberty activists had pledged to face arrest rather than allow Ian's trial to go down in the dark. Within hours, there was yet another apparent reversal. Later in the morning, on October 24th, a judge's order appeared stating that the court would allow videography. Only 1 camera would be allowed, but the date of the trial was pushed back, allowing media to coordinate pool coverage. This is standard procedure in most courts, and a more reasonable arrangement than a complete ban. But there are unanswered questions. Will other cameras be prohibited in the area you see here, outside the courtroom? Would that lead to a sort of hidden zone in the lobby? Will liberty activists face arrest rather than give up camera access in this location? I'm mulling that myself. In the past, the judge in this case, Edward Burke, has objected to camera panning and questioned microphone placement in the courtroom. But he had the guts to admit he was wrong in his interpretation of court rules, and has now been allowing both to occur. Another question: who will be the pool videographer? Candid World's Caruso is the most likely candidate since he'll have the best equipment and is happy to share his video with other media. Also, I'd like to read the court order that came out on October 24th, or at least excerpts. State of New Hampshire versus Ian Bernard. Order. RE. Pool coverage. The court has received at least 2 requests for access to the courtroom for purposes of creating video recordings of proceedings in this case. Furthermore, at the defendant's arraignment, there were at least 3 video cameras observed to be operating. The court considers this to be disruptive of the proper and orderly administration of justice. Accordingly, the court hereby exercises its discretion under Rule 1.4e to require pool coverage. A copy of the rule is attached hereto for reference. Strict adherence to all the provisions of Rule 1.4 is, of course, required at all times. Given that this order does not accord the media sufficient time to arrange for pool coverage, the case will be continued on the court's motion. The case is rescheduled for Friday, November 14th, 2008 at 1:30 p.m. Pursuant to the provisions of Rule 1.4d, if any person objects to the presence of video cameras in the courtroom, they may object, in which case the court may conduct an evidentiary hearing. The parties are reminded, this is important, the parties are reminded that Rule 1.4 and the procedures it sets forth apply to all court procedures conducted outside the courtroom or court facility. So ordered, Edward J. Burke, Justice. October 24th, 2008. So that last part is raising some questions about what can be done outside the court. We'll know more over the coming days, and of course, thanks to the judge's delay, we'll have time to work these details out, figure out what we want to do, where we want to make our stands, if any. I'd like to mention I've received some very nice notes from the Keene police prosecutor, Eli Rivera, after I pledged to be arrested rather than submit to the old cameraman pan ban. The judge, of course, did the right thing in that case and let me pan rather than arrest me. It's great to have an open line of communications. Let's all try to be kind to authorities so that we can keep those lines cordial and open. The new trial, of course, set for November 14th. Visit calendar.nhfree.com. Or you can see the video descript for latest details on this unfolding freedom of the press saga triggered by a property rights saga. If nothing else, Ian Freeman can rest assured his non-cooperation over the city's couch removal orders has had a domino effect. This is Dave Ridley signing out for RidleyReport.com, or about to sign out, this October 25th, 2008. But first...
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by supporters of the Libertarian Enterprise at
NCC-1776.org.
It's the online magazine that started it all. It's the Libertarian Enterprise, birthplace of the Free State Project. Home to 13 years of archives, cartoons, and up-to-date commentary. From the cutting-edge minds in free market thought.
NCC-1776.org.
They've already started one revolution. Who knows what their next article will accomplish?
NCC-1776.org.